Represent your shit. Need a horn and drum roll. Turn up, yeah!
I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work. Represent your shit. Need a horn and drum roll. Turn up, yeah!
I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work. Represent your shit. Need a horn and drum roll. Turn up, yeah!
I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work. Represent your shit. Need a horn and drum roll. Turn up, yeah!
I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work. Represent your shit.
that sat on them benches. I never talked to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work.
Yo. Oh man, look at my camera. Hold on. Let's fix what we got going on here. It's been a minute, Seminole family. Let me see that. There we go. It's been a minute. And as you can't tell, I am feeling refreshed and rejuvenated. I had a great bye week. Don't know about you guys. It felt good not to be depressed for a week. That's why I did no content this weekend. Because I felt good just to not have to talk about the BS. And we come back ready to go, fresh, rejuvenated, and really ready to get the second half of the season going. Oh, excuse me. Doing a sound check. All right, we're doing good on the sound. And I'm back. It feels good. Let's go. Let's get it popping. Let's get to our regularly scheduled programming. You on 863 Seminole TV. It is your host, POLK, a.k.a. AloMoney, a.k.a. the goddamn truth. And we're on the Hangover, baby. Doing this a little bit earlier than I would usually do it. I know the time set back or whatever. See, Hawaii doesn't have daylight saving, so it threw me off at the time. But either way, this is a little bit earlier than I would usually do it because I got some stuff I got to take care of later. So we may or may not get our regular crowd that we usually have. Don't matter to me either way. I'm just gonna spit off the top of the head today. So I'll get it started. Don't have a huge crowd in here today, so won't waste my time going through the chat until more people show up. If they show up again, I'm earlier than I usually am. Anyway, what I am gonna do though, I'm gonna just talk. I'm gonna just spit it and tell you what I think of this. For me, this isn't or has nothing to do with Pitt. This has everything to do with just the last 5 games of the season and what you can expect. And one of the reasons for my upbeat attitude today is I understand now what I am watching. I understand what this team is. I will not allow this team to fool me into thinking that they are anything more than what they have shown. And the only thing that this team has shown in the first 6 games of the season, and I believe it's the only thing they will show in the last 5 games of the season, is one thing: inconsistency. It's the only thing I believe this team can show. It's the only identity that this team has, is that it's inconsistent as hell. And because of that, I'm in a great place because I've accepted what they are. I've accepted the fact that we're most likely going to lose realistically. Again, this video is going to have nothing to do with Pitt. This is just going to be an outlook on the rest of the entirety of the season. We have 5 games left. One's against Clemson, so I'll chalk that up as an L off the bat. Not even going to pretend, right? I legit think out of the 4 games left, again, we're not counting Clemson, they go 500 in those 4 games. I only expect FSU to win 2 of the last 5 games. That might not be what anybody wants to hear. But I've never been the one to come on here and sell you lies. Yeah, I'm expecting It would not shock me if they lost to Pitt at all. Wouldn't shock me. As a matter of fact, I don't think they're going to beat Pitt. I'll just go ahead and throw that out there. Since we're here, we're talking. I do not expect Florida State to beat Pitt this weekend. I'd be very interested to see how they come off the bye week. The last time they came off a bye week, they gave up 52 points. So I do not expect them to beat the Pitt Panthers. I do not. Take a sip. I damn sure don't expect them to beat Clemson. And I wouldn't be surprised if I expect them to lose to either Virginia or Duke. One of the two. You pick. If I had to pick off right now, I say they probably lose to Virginia. I think we'll beat NC State. That's the only game that I can kind of confidently say I have some confidence in. And that's okay. That's okay. Look, Florida State fans, the few guys I have in here, again, I'm earlier than I usually am, so that, to me, that explains the low number. So I got it. People can go back and watch. You'll be in a much better place like I am right now when you just sit back and understand what it is you're dealing with, what you're watching, and you're watching just an inconsistent football team. And I can deal with that. I can deal with that. I can deal with the last winning 2 out of the last 4 because I know what it is. I expect Pittsburgh. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It would not shock me if Pittsburgh put up 400 plus yards. They're not even a great offense, and yet it wouldn't shock me if they did it. I am literally going to take this season, the rest of this season, the remainder of the season, because see, what happened in the first 6 games was that this team made me look like a fool because I picked them in every single game. Foolishly, I know. They embarrassed me in the Georgia Tech game. They embarrassed me in the Miami game. They come out in the first half against Jacksonville State. That was almost the last straw. But we found a quarterback. They embarrassed me against Notre Dame. Played a great first half of football at North Carolina. And then came back only to embarrass us again against Louisville. I know what I'm watching, guys. I know what I'm watching. I understand what this team is. This bye week did wonders for me. I hope it did wonders for you. I don't expect anything. I will take this thing game by game. Inconsistency is the theme of this team. And until I see consistency, I will not change my thought process or what I expect. I can't do it. It is what it is. This team has literally played, this team has literally failed to put together an entire game of football. So how can they be anything but inconsistent? This team has not played 2 good halves of football in one game. And that includes the win against North Carolina. And that includes the win against Jacksonville State because they were down in the first half in that damn game. So until I can see one good first half, good second half of football, I know what to expect from this team. Regardless of what I think from the offense, I have no faith in the defense. So until further proof, again, my prediction, I think they're going to lose to Pitt. I think we're going to lose to Pitt. I just think we're going to. I know we're home, so that's a plus. We expect the offense to come out and do some things. Got it. I have no faith in this defense to do anything. Nothing. I could take the Schofield. If you don't, so Schofield is a place here on Hawaii. They have a football team called the Schofield Gators. I could go take the Schofield Gators and probably put up 300 yards on this Florida State defense. That's a Pop Warner team. So I expect Pitt to put up about what FSU's been giving up on an average, about 400 to 500 yards. So, it is what it is there. Again, this video ain't about Pitt. It is what it is. I don't expect us to beat Pitt. And going forward, this whole thing for me is just a game by game situation. If they can beat Pitt, play 2 good halves of football against Pitt, then maybe I'll start to sing a different tune. I'll reevaluate what's going on, and we'll go from the next game. And then we'll see how they do against NC State. Then we'll go to the next game and get whooped against Clemson. You know? Oh, and before anybody does it, just before anybody comes in here, I haven't checked any of the comments yet. I see we got more people in here, so I'll check those in a minute. Before anybody does it, don't come in here and tell me Clemson's beatable because Syracuse hung with them and then Boston College had them all but beat and gave that game away. Don't do it. Because in my opinion, Florida State's more talented than both of those teams and they're more poorly coached than both of those teams. At best, you won't even be in the game against Clemson. I guarantee it. Now, this isn't, I know what everybody's thinking. Everybody's like, damn, POLK just came on here today to be negative as hell. No, actually, I'm not. This isn't me being negative. Again, I am upbeat. I'm good. The bye week did a great thing for me. It opened my mind. So it's not negative. It's not negativity. It's truth. Now, if you can't deal with truth, then you're going to call me negative. If you want to say I'm being negative or this isn't what you want to hear, and if you want me to come out here and lie to you and tell you, oh, no, this bye week has cured all of Florida State's ailments, and they're going to come out here the last 5 games of the season, and they're going to beat every team but Clemson, and they're going to finish the season 4-1. That's what you want to hear. You can go and kindly leave now because that's not what you're going to hear today because it's not a realistic expectation. It's not. It's just, it is what it is. Excuse me if I'm sniffing a lot too. I have a cold. My son got me sick, so I'll be sniffing a lot and all that other stuff. But I got 15 people in here again. We're doing a list a little earlier than I usually do it on my Tuesdays because I got stuff I got to take care of later. I didn't do a Saturday show. I didn't do a Friday show, so I figured let me come on here early Tuesday and give a show. Haven't seen you guys in a week, so it's good to see you guys. And give you my thought process after the bye week and what to expect going forward. Let's go to the top. I see Yella in the building. Florida State love. Kind of early today. Yeah, I'm early today. Wanted to get this out there. Phil the Kane, Eric Flowers. You being real nice about those 4, POLK. What's good, Knowles fans? Being real nice about what 4? I said 2-2. I don't think that's being real nice. I think that's being fairly realistic. If I said 4-0, that'd be me being nice. I have just expected that we will not win any more games until we make major changes. I don't want to see. It's hard to say we won't win any more games, right? There's still Duke on that schedule. You know, NC State still doesn't have a quarterback. So, you know, there are teams to be beaten. But you're right. Major changes are needed. We'll see what those are. Pitt safety, Paris Ford opting out. That does nothing. What? That's not even the strength of their team. The strength of their team is their defensive line. Unless all of those guys got COVID, I don't care. That doesn't do nothing for me. And I don't have too much worries on the offense anyway. It's the defense. I guarantee you, Pitt's offense looks like a completely different team against this defense. I guarantee it. I'll be shocked if they don't. This offense is going to look like a damn, I won't call it a juggernaut, but again, I think they'll get about 400 some odd yards on this Florida State defense because that's what they give up in every game. Any team with the post can get 400 yards of offense. What up? POLK finally made it. Been busy. I've been busy too. Pitt isn't going to just let JT run over them. Phil, you've been saying that for weeks. So I know you're going to be right on a team that eventually stops the run. But you've been saying that for a couple weeks now. Going to force him to throw. Yeah. Ford opting out definitely helps. He would have been a nightmare for a quarterback like Jordan Travis. Unless any of them defensive linemen are opting out, I don't care. Cromartie said y'all gave up 1,200 yards in the last 2 games. I don't know. I mean, I put the stat up there a couple episodes ago. If you go look at any of the, he gave up 400 yards to Georgia Tech. I'll just off the top of my head, you gave up 400 plus to Georgia Tech. You gave up 500 plus to Miami. You gave up 500 plus to Notre Dame. You gave up 500 plus to North Carolina, and you gave up, I believe, 500 plus to Louisville as well. Now, maybe one of those teams may have been in the fours. Maybe in Miami. I don't know. But regardless, are any of those stats good? No, they're not good. Teams, defensively, this team is what it is. So, again, the bye week just did nothing but me, but, smoothed me out and realized this season is a game of games. And what I mean by that is one game at a time. Until they prove that they can string together some consistent play, one game at a time. Let's see if they can put up 2 competent halves of football against Pitt, because they haven't done it all season. That game, let's go back. Georgia Tech played a solid first half. I mean, we went into the set about as solid as you can call it. We went into halftime winning. Second half, couldn't score a point. Lost that game. Miami didn't play good at any half. Notre Dame, they played a solid first half. Second half, couldn't do nothing. North Carolina played the best first half they've played in years, quite honestly, offensively and defensively. And in the second half, they reverted back. It's like nobody made any adjustments. And the second half, they reverted back to what they were. And then Louisville again started off the game moving the ball defensively, couldn't do anything. It is what it is. I've been hearing rumblings about Dix Jr. being maxed out. When you say maxed out, what do you mean? Maxed out? Like, is he tired? Explain that to me, Daniel. Explain maxed out to me. So yeah, Florida State fans, I think we'll all be in a better place if you accept the fact that this is the team that you have for 2020. This is the team you have. It's not going to necessarily get better. I mean, what could they have really fixed in this bye week? Exactly. Nothing. Like lower ceiling or physically. So people think that Dick, who are you hearing these rumblings by? That Steven Dix, a true freshman, is already the player that he's going to be 2-3 years from now? I think that's a ridiculous take. I think that's ridiculous. What indications has a Steven Dix, who's just learning the position, that this is what he is, that he's not going to get any better? I find that as a very strange take, in my opinion. And Steven Dix is done growing as a player? That he's not going to get any better? Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. And I don't know where that's coming from. I mean, a kid that's 6'2", 236 pounds as a freshman is just, he just is what he is. And I'm not saying you agree. I'm just curious to know where are you hearing that from? I haven't heard that at all. I mean, that's saying that's a damning statement if it's true. Like, first of all, there's no way to determine if that's true or not. There's no way to go, Steven Dix is not going to get any better. If any, I mean, physically, let's say, okay, so he's 6'2", 236 pounds. Okay, so you can make an argument that a kid that's that big already, maybe physically, he may be, I don't see Steven Dix putting on an extra 20 pounds. I don't think he needs to put on like an extra 20 pounds or anything like that. So maybe as a physical specimen, maybe he doesn't have a lot of room to grow physically. But even from the mental game, I mean, dude has a ton to learn mentally as a linebacker. Mentally alone, he's going to get better. Let's assume, with a weight program and stuff that he can get at least faster, maybe not bulk up. It doesn't seem like he needs to bulk up. The dude is a monster. Yeah, I don't think that. I don't think that. That's just me. That's what I don't do, right? I don't come on here just to say stuff like negative stuff just to say it. I'm only telling you some truths, what I see, right? But to sit here and go, oh, Steven Dix, what you see from him is what you're going to get from him the next 2, 3, 4 years. Don't expect much else. Is like, that's more damning on the coaching, if anything. If people believe that, I just, don't agree with that one. Not so much not get better, but as far as how much more weight he could put on. Oh, okay. Well, weight, again, that makes sense. As a 18-year-old, he's 6'2", 236. I don't think you want him to put on much more weight, right? There's good weight and bad weight. I think from a physical standpoint, the dude's the size of NFL backers. So from that standpoint, I agree a little bit. Again, I don't think you don't need Steven Dix to be playing at 246 or 236 at 18. It's a big kid. So from a physical standpoint, you may be right, or whoever is saying that, whether that's Tomahawk Nation or whoever the hell, they may be right physically in terms of just weight, but that doesn't mean he can't get faster. That doesn't mean that weight can't turn into more defined muscle, right? Less body fat. You can do all of that. A 6'2", 236-pound freshman, that is like a block of granite that's just waiting to be chipped away and molded into something better. Granted, if we have the right defensive coaching, that'll remain to be seen. Dix getting better by the day. I agree. I think Dix is way better than he was when we first saw him play this year, And Duval know what's going on. So again, if you're just joining, the purpose of this video isn't even to talk about Pitt. And I have a cold, so excuse me. The purpose of the video is to look at the remainder of the season and what do we expect, or what should we expect at Florida State fans. And I have news for everybody. Don't expect much. Don't expect much. Okay? Don't expect Hamson Nasruddin to play. Just don't expect it. Don't expect this defense to all of a sudden start holding teams to 300 yards if we're lucky. Okay? This defense is what it is. This team is what it is. Now, that's not saying that there's everything's negative. There are bright spots on this team. We still have a quarterback. We also still have, and I'll get into this later because I want to get on the Purdy thing, right? We still got a up-and-coming quarterback. I think both quarterbacks are actually up and coming. Remember, Jordan Travis has only played 4 college football games as a quarterback. So Jordan Travis is by far not even a finished product of what we think he may be. And he's gotten better as the season has gone along as well. His health has been the issue with him. Hopefully this week he's been able to heal up. He's refreshed and rejuvenated himself. So there you go. Offensively, we got pluses. We know the quarterback situation, even if it's not the greatest right now, that's a bright spot going forward, in my opinion. Running back room, same thing. Most talented position group on the offense is the running back group, and they're playing like it. I think we got 3 really good quality running backs. I think Ja'Shawn Corbin, I know a lot of people give him some hard times, but I think he's good for what he's asked to do, and that is pass block and get tough yardage. Damian Webb is the explosive, what we have right now. Really good running back. I think Toafili's a future superstar. Running back room is set. And that's not even to talk about guys like Ja'Kai Douglas and Corey Wren. and Corey Wren. Wide receiver room, yeah. That needs an upgrade. That needs an upgrade. That needs an upgrade. Got it. Tight end still needs to be upgraded. But tight end has produced more than I think it's produced in the last few years, which is a plus. With not a lot of talent in that room. And then we know what the O-line, we know what Atkins has done with that O-line. So there are positive things to look at, mainly on the offensive side of the ball. I just don't believe that defensively anything can get fixed in that short amount of time. And I honestly believe that defensively, you're going to see this team struggle over these last 5 games. Again, I think they're going 2-3 down the stretch. I honestly believe that. I would love to come on here and be wrong. See, I don't come on here just to be negative to be negative. I'm just telling you what I see. They haven't given me any reason to believe that they're going to come out here, handle a Pitt team, handle an NC State team, put up a fight against Clemson, then beat Duke and Virginia. Does that even sound, from the team we saw the first 6 games, does that even sound feasible to any of you guys? I don't even think that sounds feasible. I think we all are like pipe. That's a good pipe dream, right? Like, oh my God, that'd be an amazing finish, which it would be. If somehow they were able to finish 4-1 down the stretch, I think it would show obviously that progression and that development that we want to see. I just don't believe we're going to see it because they haven't given me any indication that we're going to see it. So from a realistic standpoint, I think 2-3, you can pick the teams. Again, I think we're going to lose to Pitt. I'm not going to lie to you. I think we're going to lose coming off this bye week. I'll be very interested to see how they play off of a bye week with Mike Norvell as the coach, right? So if this is the game that they're going to prove me wrong, I think this is the game. They can come out here and beat Pitt, then I'll change my tune to, what did I say, 2-3, maybe 3-2. If you can beat Pitt, I think you can beat NC State. I'll still count Clemson as a loss, and I still say you split one of the games between Virginia and Duke. But that's 3-2. That would also show some growth. So they have a chance to come out here against Pitt, prove me wrong, show that they've grown, show that the bye week did some good stuff. I mean, I'm still waiting on a wide receiver to step up. We can talk about Jordan Travis all we want, and we know what he brings, because he brings an extra level of dynamics to that running game that teams have to account for. And you can talk about Jordan Travis not being a great thrower or whatever. Show me a receiver that's catching the ball. Now, there's Tamar Terry was listening on the depth chart. I think that's some gamesmanship right there. I don't think he's going to play against Pitt, if I'm being honest with you. He may play again during the season, because I think Terry wants to go pro, and I think Terry's going to try to put some more tape out there because he's going to need it. But I don't expect him to play in this game. I think that's some coach games, right? You want to force a team like Pitt to maybe prepare for Tamarion Terry when they don't have to, you know? So that's where I'm going with that. But I'm waiting for a receiver to step up. That's all I can say. Waiting on a receiver to step up. So until a receiver steps up, the offense isn't even going to reach the limits of what it can potentially reach, you know? I think you really saw this offense, especially in that North Carolina game and even in that Notre Dame game to some degree, was really starting to click because teams had to account for Terry going deep. Well, no, he didn't even play in North Carolina game, did he? I don't think he did. I'm trying to remember. He played in Notre Dame. I know he played in Notre Dame because he played damn good in Notre Dame game. I don't think he played against North Carolina. But you could kind of start to see that offense come to life with Terry. Terry brings that deep threat dynamic, that team. You have to keep a safety back there. Now that he's not out there, and now that no other wide receiver is showing much of a threat, you can stack the box against this team. And even when guys are getting open, you saw it against Louisville, they're just going to flat out drop balls. So until a wide receiver steps up and shows something, this offense is going to continue to remain limited. And I have no answers for the defense. Maybe somebody else has answers for the defense in the chat. I have no answers for the defense at all. I can't tell you what the defense can do differently. If you want to talk about some things, the defense, I looked at the depth chart. They added Leonard Warner to the defensive end, which he's been playing that position more anyway. But now they finally listed him on the depth chart as the starting DN. It's him or Janoris Robinson. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm sitting here like, okay, at least they're trying something different. But how many times have I said they should put Gainer in that spot? Gainer's the obviously better athlete. But they're putting Leonard Warner there. Now we'll see. We'll see if Leonard Warner can come out there and be effective. But why can't you put Gainer in that spot? What's stopping you from putting a guy that everybody kind of has the same thought process on? Any Florida State podcast or YouTube channel, I guess, with any kind of credibility or that knows what the hell they're talking about, majority of them are saying Gainer should be your speed rusher off the edge. Instead, you put Leonard Warner as your speed rusher off the edge. Like, it's one thing to make changes. It's another thing to make the right changes or to make intelligent changes. I feel like because Leonard Warner's a senior, and they did a story on Leonard Warner about how he was really thinking about transferring and decided to come back, that they're trying to give him opportunities to be successful, but sometimes guys just aren't good football players. Leonard Warner just isn't a good football player. Now, maybe he can come out here at defensive end and prove me wrong. I would love that he would emerge as an outstanding pass rusher. I don't see it, but I would love that he prove me wrong and emerge as one. But you can make that move with him. Yet it's like they do not want to put Amari Gainer's hand in the dirt. And for the life of me, I don't understand that. I don't understand it at all. Corey Hall says, sad to say, I think we are stuck with Fuller next season. I agree. I don't think Fuller's getting fired at the end of this year. Whether that's a financial decision or whatever, I think Fuller will be the defensive coordinator next year. I actually agree with you. 4-7 season at best, but 3-8 realistically. Well, I already told you what's realistic. 2 games. That would give us 4. 2 games down the stretch. Thompson, Wilson, Jordan, Hilton needed to step up next year as well. If they can't step up this year, I don't know what to tell you what's going to go on next year. Okay? I don't know. Now, Keyshawn Helton, he had a bad game. So we'll see how he responds off the bye week. I expect Keyshawn Helton to be good. The problem is your best wide receiver, unless he runs a 4-3 and Helton don't run no 4-3, your best wide receiver can't be 5'8" or whatever it is Helton is. Helton's no bigger than 5'10", if that. Your best wide receiver can't be that big. He has to be bigger than that. Excuse me. Listening to the coaches' interviews this week, sounded like there was some resistance to changing guys around to new positions. So the only ones I listened to this week was Norvell and Dillingham. I really like listening to Dillingham. Norvell is a boring interview to me, if I'm being honest. Whenever I listen to Norvell, and I don't blame him for being boring interview. He doesn't give much information. He doesn't like to. And a head coach, quite frankly, should kind of be that way. Norvell's a bit of a boring interview. Some of the guys I like listening to, though, like Kenny Dillingham. If you go watch him, he was flat out telling people, look, guys, we're not any good. I like Dillingham. He comes out and just says what it is. Like, look, we're not good at all, and we're inconsistent as hell. I mean, what more can you ask from your coach? He can come out there and just be honest and be like, look, we're not good, we're inconsistent, and we have to get better. So I like listening to Dillingham, mainly just because I like Dillingham keeping it a buck. You know, if you keep it 100, I respect it. As far as changing positions goes, on offense, I don't see the need to change any positions. I just think guys need to play better. Right? They tried to bring over Isaiah Bolden from defensive back to wide receiver, and he decided to transfer. He didn't want to make that move. After originally saying he would do whatever to help the team, they lost a couple games, and he decided to transfer out. So that type of mentality, good riddance to you. I don't think, all you have to do is just develop some of these guys. Some of these receivers that Montray named, Warren Thompson, Ontario Wilson, I don't know how much more developed. I mean, Pookie is a senior, isn't he? Redshirt junior or senior? I mean, he kind of is what he is. Jordan Young has been the one guy that I've been like, yo, where is this dude? What happened to him? Why isn't he turned out to be a better player? But again, that's another 3-star. They're relying too much on these 3 stars. I mean, 3 out of the 4 names you just named here are all 3 stars. Matter of fact, I don't even think Keyshawn Helton wasn't even rated. Now, for a player who was unrated, Keyshawn Helton is a damn good player. But there's a reason why he was unrated. Helton and Jordan and Wilson, those all guys were 3 stars or less. Thompson's your lone 4-star and probably the worst one out of those 4, not, to be honest with you. Gainer must not be able to set the edge. But Leonard Warner can, though. Can he? I mean, can get. I don't know. Maybe Leonard Warner can. I don't need Gainer to set the edge. I just need Gainer to rush the damn passer. I need them to use Gainer how Clemson used to use Vic Beasley. Vic Beasley is smaller than Amari Gainer. You don't need to use him to set the edge. When it comes to obvious running downs, guess what? That's what Janoris Robinson is for. You have Kane Doe and J-Rob on the edge. When you need to get to the quarterback, throw Gainer in there to blitz. Throw Gainer in there to rush off the edge. Throw Gainer in there on obvious passing situations. How hard is that? I don't need Gainer to be the primary starter over there if he's not good against the run. Come on, Adam Fuller, as a defensive coordinator, figure it out. If I can figure it out, you can figure it out. That's just me. You think Dillingham is going to be there for a long haul? I like him for y'all boys. I like Dillingham. I think Dillingham is going to be there. Now you can never guess a coach's career path. You never can guess who's going to offer that dude a job. I know him and Mike Norvell are awesome friends. I think for the foreseeable, he's also very young. Dillingham's only like 30 something, like young 30s. I think I might be older than Kenny Dillingham, and I'm 32. He's extremely young for coaching, and he probably, before I think a major team takes a swing at him, they're going to want to see him do a little bit more seasoning or whatever. So for the foreseeable future, yeah, I don't see him going anywhere. Eventually, though, he may be a big name on the coaching radar. I like his personality. I like how he talks football. I like Kenny Dillingham. Montray says, yep. So, as far as all the changes that need to be made, defensively, I don't know if there's any more changes you can. I mean, there's changes, but I've been saying those same changes since game 1. And, they haven't done them. So I don't think they're going to do them. Right? I've been calling for Gainer to be the primary pass rusher from day 1. They refused to do it. Instead, they want to go with Leonard Warner. Leonard Warner, who's slower, less athletic than Amari Gainer, but for some reason, they feel like he can be the primary pass rusher and set the edge. We'll see. That was a huge grab, no cap. He's 30. Yeah, so he's younger than me. He's a young coach. So I don't think definitely not a Power 5 school is going to take a swing on a Kelly Dillingham right now. Give him a few more years. Give him 5 more years. I think for his foreseeable future, he's going to be tied to the hip with Mike Norvell. I like Coach Atkins. Yeah, we all like Coach Atkins. And if we like him, the rest of the country sees what Coach Atkins has done with the offensive line. That was probably as bad as any offensive line in the country over the last 3 years. And then you can't say that. Right? You can't say that no more. And if we notice it, everybody else is noticing it. Somebody's going to come for Coach Atkins. The question is, how much are they going to offer him, and how much does Florida State really want to keep him? Coach Atkins will be a hot commodity. Now, somebody put it before. I believe Atkins, there's a rule in the contract where they can't leave for another job for the first 2 years or something like that. But after that, expect teams to really offer Coach Atkins, and not just offensive line coach. Somebody's going to offer Coach Atkins a head coaching job. I'm telling you right now. He's going to be a future head coach. Guarantee it. So we'll see how long we're able to stick with Coach Atkins. But, like I'm saying, it's not all about negativity. It's just about me being honest with you guys. I don't foresee this team really making any strides the rest of the season. we'll see. We will see. We'll see what they could figure out defensively. Again, if you came here and you wanted to listen to me say, "Oh man, this team is gonna come out the second half of this season and we're gonna win 4 of the last 5 and really put the college football world on notice," yeah, I'm sorry. That's not what I came here to do today. Again, if you want a positive, unrealistic outlook on things, you can feel free to go find you another channel to watch tonight. It just is what it is. I'm not gonna lie to you. 2-3 down the stretch is what I'm thinking. Again, you beat Pitt. Now we can come out here and we can talk about potentially flipping that record from 2-3 to 3-2. We're definitely, and this again, it's not all about being positive and negative. I get a lot of flack. I don't know if you guys know. I get a lot of people always telling me that I'm negative, and I don't actually feel like I'm negative. I don't feel like I'm negative at all. I just feel like I tell and say what I see, But when everybody was telling me after game one, if you've been watching me for any amount of time, after game 1 of the season, I said this offensive line is vastly improved. It's way better. It's just the quarterback made the O-line look bad in James Blackman. I could watch that offensive line in game 1 and tell you they were better and were going to be better. Everybody told me the offensive line is bad. I wasn't being negative then. I was just wrong that the O-line was better. And I told you guys, I said the offensive line is 10 times better. I don't want any blame on the O-line. Come 6 games into the season, now everybody's saying what I was saying game 1. I could see it game 1. I'm not here to say that I'm right and wrong or right all the time. The point is I'm not negative all the time. When I say positive things, people try to tell me that I'm wrong. When I was saying positive things about the O-line, the offensive line still sucks. 6 games into the season, everybody loves Coach Atkins. Everybody loves this offensive line. They realize this offensive line is, I think the offensive line, now don't quote me on this because I don't have the stats in front of me. I think as a unit, the O-line ranks in like the top 25 in the nation. But everybody was trying to tell me that offensive line sucked even after game 1 because when you don't know what you're watching and you don't understand that a quarterback was making that offensive line look worse than what it was, you see what it is. Now, also, Jordan Travis has made that offensive line look better as well. The offensive line's still growing, but I was telling you that it was better. So I'm not always negative when I come on here. I do come on here and say some positive things. I was one of the people that told you from the jump, hey, I like this Lawrence Toafili kid. I think he's going to be really good. Most of the rest of the fan base, if we just being real, everybody was so enamored with Corey Wren and this speed that Corey Wren supposedly has and this track star. And he was going to come and be a dynamic player game 1. And I kept telling y'all, Corey Wren's got to develop Let's not put all our eggs in that basket. Toafili's the more college-ready back. Here we are, 6 games of the season. We've only ever seen Corey Wren on kickoff, and he didn't look very great on those. While Toafili is really doing the damn thing. So, again, it's not about right or wrong. When I am positive, people take it for granted. But when I'm negative, everybody's quick to tell me that I'm always negative. So, I'm not always negative. I try to be positive. As long as you can see glimpses of progression throughout the rest of the year, that's what matters in a rebuild. The problem is the defense hasn't shown any progression, though. See, that's, you're right. You're absolutely right in what you're saying. But the defense has shown regression. First half against North Carolina, defense played the best we've seen it play. I think we only gave up 7 points in that first half against North Carolina, right? Had a pick 6, multiple sacks, right? They were flying to the ball. They were all over the place. They've regressed since that point. They didn't even look like they were on the field against Louisville. So, you want to see progression. I've seen it from the offense. I've seen it from the offense. I won't say from game 1 because game 1 was bad. Game 2 was even worse. Once they got rid of Blackman, you've seen that offense progress consistently. Okay? Louisville was a tough game to judge. Jordan Travis wasn't healthy. You could tell he wasn't healthy because they weren't even trying. It ain't that Louisville stopped him from running. They didn't try to call any running plays with Jordan Travis. You could tell they were game planning around him not getting hit. He's not a type of player that can play like that, right? If you're not going to utilize his entire tool bag, you're better off not playing him because if he can't do what makes him great, you're limiting him. But I've seen the offense progress. Really, since Jordan Travis has taken the reins, I don't see any progression from the defense. Defense has regressed in every aspect. The defense has regressed from last year when they had a coach who didn't. They had a handcuff defensive coordinator being forced to coach a scheme he wasn't supposed to be coaching, and they actually played better. And they were bad last year, but they played better. They played better last year than they did this year. Pitt going to bring heat. I expect them to. FSU is cheap. Atkins will be gone. Yep, we'll see. They're smart. They won't. That's the side of the ball that needs to address immediately because offensively, y'all going to be straight. I think so, too. I'm glad you said that. I think offensively, I think you can see, again, the progression. Now it's just a matter of getting more talented wide receivers on the team, more talented off. Like, I don't know how long Atkins is going to be here. I know people are going to start trying to come get him. But wait till that dude starts getting some legit 4 stars on that offensive line, right? He's going to be. If he's here long enough, you're going to see some really special things, I think, out of the offensive line. Again, I said it before. The offense doesn't have a lot of talent on it. Only in the running back room do you have 4 stars. Every other position on that is full of 3 stars. Even Tamarion Terry, our best wide receiver. Now, he was obviously Terry was underrated as a prospect, but Terry was only a 3-star. We have 1 4-star quarterback, 2 4-star offensive linemen, 1 4-star tight end, a walk-on, and 2 walk-ons, actually. We have 2 walk-on tight ends and a 4-star tight end. Wyatt Rector, former QB, was a walk-on. Regression, man. That's if you look up Florida State defense in dictionary, it's going to say regression right next to it. I wonder where Blackman plays next season. Don't know. Ain't really giving it much thought, to be honest with you, T2I. What's going on? Haven't given it any thought. I don't know if Blackman's giving it any thought. Maybe he'll play at FIU or something. I think your offense is going to struggle this game for real. Defense has to play great if not, you guys will get embarrassed. So, yep, as I continue to say, unfortunately, the team as a whole, you know, 2-3. That's all I can really go for, man. 2-3. I don't know if anybody sees anything differently, but I got 2-3 down the stretch. Again, this is nothing. It has nothing to do with Pitt, to be quite honest with you, because I don't think Pitt's great. I don't think Pitt's great at anything. I do think they have a good defensive line. Um, so that's going to be really fun to see our offensive line against that defensive line. We'll see if we can score. Again, I expect the offense to play pretty good. I do expect the offense to be somewhat good. They always seem to play better at home. Most offenses play better at home. So we'll see how that translates. This to me just has a lot more to do with the defense. Until I see the defense able to hold a team with a pulse under 100 yards rushing, that's shooting the bar way too high for this defense. They can hold them under 150 yards rushing, something like that. Then I can, maybe say, okay, the defense is coming along. But until then, I can't pick the defense to really win us any games. I can't. Again, I don't expect to see Nasruddin. Just continue to play the young guys, I guess. That's really where I'm at, though. Again, I had a great bye week, though. Great bye week. Refreshed, rejuvenated. Except I got sick. That's the only thing that sucked. I got this cold. I'm sniffing all over the place. But outside of that, man, I had a great bye week. I hope the team had a great bye week. As far as any news going for Florida State, man, it's been pretty quiet from everything I've seen. Nothing to really talk about. No commits, no decommits, no nothing. No nothing. I'm even trying to look right now. Sometimes stuff come up. But there's nothing. From a recruiting standpoint, I think what you really want to do, recruiting-wise, you really gotta. I don't believe. There are things that I do believe when it comes to recruiting. I do think winning matters, but I also believe that relationships matter just as much, if not more. The problem with the 2020 class, I don't think they have those relationships, right? They obviously didn't have those relationships with a guy like Brandon Jennings. I don't, for this class, the only thing you can do is so I want to get into Purdy thing. And Purdy thing, to me, the Purdy thing is going to tie into recruiting. Here's what you do. I'm saying 2 and 3 down the stretch. Let's say worst case scenario, you drop the Pitt game and you drop the NC State game. At that point, you're not even, in my opinion, you shouldn't even be trying to necessarily win games at that point. At that point, you need to go Chubba Purdy full on for the rest of the year. And yes, that includes Clemson. I say this not because anything's wrong with Jordan Travis. I say this because what you want to now show these kids, let's get Chubba Purdy ready for day one next year, at least to compete. Not saying he can beat out a Jordan Travis, but you want to get him ready to compete. You want to let him see what the real speed of the college game is. And if that means putting him out there against Clemson and let him see and feel what it's like to play against speed, you do that. You get him ready for that. You get him ready for that level of play. What's that? If he goes out there and plays well, I'm not saying you win those games, but if he goes out there and shows that he can handle himself, you're going to show recruits, high school kids, that I can go play with Chubba Purdy and we can build something, right? That's really how I'm looking at the rest of the season. As long as you're winning games or attempting to win games, attempting to fight for wins, I don't have a problem sticking with Jordan Travis. If it becomes, if it gets to the point where you lose to NC State, you lose to Pitt, you drop Clemson game, you only have 2 games left. Like, man, just throw Purdy out there for those last 2 games. I would argue throw Purdy out there for the last 3. If you drop Pitt and NC State, I would throw Purdy out there for the last 3. Let Jordan Travis get all the way healthy. Let him prepare for next season as well. Let Purdy just play the last 3 games. At that point, completely build for the future. But as long as you're competing in these games, I would stick with Jordan Travis. But I also think you need to show these recruits what this team offensively can be. Right? If there's one positive, is that the offense has shown progression. And then can you convince a kid that is looking at the offense and he's going, okay, they're not where they want to be, but I can put them over the top. I can help them get there. That's where I think you go with recruiting. I know recruiting is about wins and losses, but I really believe it's more about relationships. And if you can convince a kid that, okay, we're not winning, but you can be the difference, I think that's kind of the hallmark of a good recruiter, right? Because there are teams that recruit their ass off and they don't win games. Tennessee's one of them. I don't know what it is about University of Tennessee, if we're being honest. They can sign 5-star offensive linemen and 5-star this and 5-star that. And they constantly go out there year after year and they lose a lot of football games. Is it because the university's dropping bags? That's a whole nother part of recruiting. But I honestly believe you just got coaches that can sell water to a whale. And they can convince these kids, yo, you're going to make us the next Bama or whatever the case. I don't know if we have any recruiters like that on this team, on this staff, but that's what we'll see going forward. I don't think for this class, I don't think the relationships are there. Well, because you need 2-3 years to build relationships. That's why you offer a kid. That's why if you're a Florida State fan and you're following what they're doing in recruiting, they're really on the 2022 class and they're really on the 2023 class because that's where they can build those relationships. That's the only thing that I think is keeping Luke Altmaier committed. I think Norvell and Dillingham, mostly, was recruiting that kid way before he got to Florida State. That kid has confidence in Dillingham and Mike Norvell that he can do what he can do under them. Right? Relationships. That's what's going to salvage this recruiting. I don't think they had. I'm pretty positive they had no relationship with a Brandon Jennings. The only reason Brandon Jennings committed here was because he wanted to be a Seminole at the time. I think if he wanted to be a Seminole, he would be. Because you can't tell me Michigan, who just lost last week, right? They lost to Michigan State, if I'm not mistaken. Michigan lost to Michigan State, which the week before lost to Rutgers. So you can't tell me Michigan is a better program than Florida State. Outside of Asante, the secondary is there. Anyone else back there? Someone? No. The only guy I would say that we could look forward to in that secondary is academically ineligible, and that's Demore Tate. That doesn't mean there's some other younger players back there that maybe can't be good. But I would really like to see a Demore Tate. It's about all I can think of right now. Who mostly plays the boundary corner? Teams eat our boundary up. That's either Dent or Jerry and Jones. That's the 2 guys. Miko Dotson has been dealing with so many injuries. Miko might be back next year. I don't know that. But this was a guy who grad transferred from FAU in his senior year to Florida State. And my guess was to try to put up some game film to get him drafted. And he hasn't played, but man, Miko's probably played a game and a half, if that. So I'll be very interested to see what happens with him once he's healthy and if he comes back. FSU Rose, what's up? That boy Pruitt can recruit on and off campus. There you go. That's my point. You got teams that lose, yet they somehow still seem to fill out the recruiting rankings. When's the last time a USC was ever any good? Still recruiting. Matter of fact, let's look up these recruiting rankings real quick. I just want to look at them. 2, 4, 7. Because I want to look at some of the top teams in the country. So we know we got Bama. We know we got Ohio State. Number 3 is Oregon, LSU. Okay, so USC is 7. Again, when's the last time USC's won anything? Hell, when's the last time USC's even won the Pac-12? Okay, but they're number 7. Tennessee's in the top 10. Again, that's another team that loses a lot. They recruiting. Wisconsin is 16. Kids rather go up to Wisconsin and play football. California is 18. Minnesota 23. So point being, man, build these relationships and then you can start recruiting some of these kids. Until you build some of these relationships, I don't know. Again, and for this class, I don't expect them to have. There's not too many more guys out there that it's too late to build any relationships. So you just got to hope that you keep the kids that you have and maybe convince another couple guys to come over. Powerhouse names. Kids grew up loving these schools. Yeah, kids grew up loving these schools all the time, but like Tennessee, I can't think of there's not a kid that grew up loving Tennessee right now. There can't be. Now, unless you're, and they're recruiting out of state. The reason I say this is because Tennessee hasn't been, last time Tennessee was good was literally 1997, 98. None of these kids were born after that. They didn't grow up watching a good Tennessee team. Last time USC was good was literally what? Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart. I mean, people my age grew up watching some of these schools. These kids now they're born. Hell, some of these kids were born after 9/11. Ain't that crazy? It's crazy to even say that. When's the last time any of these kids seen a good Tennessee team or a good USC team? Hell, when's the last time any of these kids watched Michigan beat Ohio State? Let that sink in for a little bit. Seriously, let that sink in for a little bit. What's up, brother Brooklyn? We're in the top. What are we? We're ranked number 21 in recruiting. So slow your horses there. Right below Auburn in recruiting. So just relax when you want to talk about it like it's that bad. I don't know. I don't understand how Tennessee is still getting these kids. That's what I'm saying. Is there a little level of some money bags? I got you. Yeah, there's a little bit of that. Schools have to be careful with that. There's a little bit of that. But come on. Pruitt, again, Pruitt's one of those guys, man, where he's selling water. He can sell a water to a fish. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Jalen Ramsey is on the record that Pruitt is the reason he became a Seminole. Jalen Ramsey, when he talks about all those coaches at Florida State, he always talks about Jeremy Pruitt. He don't even really like Jimbo if you listen to him talk. He respects him, but Jalen Ramsey is a Pruitt guy. No, 21 is not bad. It's better than you would think we would be at, to be quite honest with you. If we're being honest, 21 is better than I think. I'll take 21 right now in recruiting. Just if I'm being real. Hope these coaches have built relationships with JUCO portal transfers and potential grad transfers. Only way next year to even close to being this good. So So Philly, I do think I think it's hard to build relationships with the transfer guys because they're at another school until they decide to transfer. And even while they're going through the transfer process, a lot of times they're still at that university, they're still at that school until they make the move. I don't know. I gotta believe there's some like NCAA rules against talking to kids that are at other schools. That is one of the things I think that's working in favor of this for this staff is that the transfer portal is going to be bigger this year than it's been in any year in college football history because they're letting kids transfer this year without any repercussions. They don't have to sit a year. They don't have to get it approved. They don't have to put in waivers. Kids are going to be able to transfer and go where they want, which is awesome. It's great for the kids. Florida State, you have to take advantage of that. Obviously, you have to. One of the things that Mike Norvell said was, don't get too big on some of these early transfers. And I think what he means by that is we've seen during the season kids transfer and people be like, oh snap. And what Norvell is saying is just relax. Because there's kids transferring in the middle of the season. Just wait till the end of the season. A lot of kids are going to be looking to move other places. That's when you'll have what you don't want to do. And this is what Norvell is alluding to. You don't want to go out there, put all your eggs in some of these transfers and get them. Then come the offseason and some big time 5-star decides he don't want to be at Alabama no more. Or he don't want to be at Clemson no more. Or he don't want to, he don't want to be at Ohio State no more. So you have to be careful. And guys that you might have a chance for later on, you can take it. But the transfer portal is going to be huge. JUCO, I'm always iffy on the JUCO. Certain positions I'm okay with, like offensive and defensive linemen. So I'm cool with the JUCO. But this year, honestly, I would look at the JUCO later on, but right now I would really focus on the transfer portal. I think that's where you can really, just ask Miami. Their starting tackle is the transfer. They have 2 starting defensive ends, both transfers. So Miami knows that you can build, the starting quarterbacks, a transfer. Hell, Miami ain't recruiting none of these motherfuckers that's making an impact for them. As far as, offensive line, defensive line, quarterback, it's crazy, right? But they're all transfers. So you be smart. You can get these guys. You can get these transfers in and essentially build a team around them. If you do it right, Big Ten definitely has money and facilities. You're absolutely right there, Shane. 2022 is the year. Again, I mentioned that earlier. Chocolate Boy Wonder. You gotta change your name, bro. I'm not gonna be calling you Chocolate Boy Wonder. Your picture is a Panther. I might just call you Panther. I'm not calling you Chocolate Boy Wonder no more. Anyway, I mentioned that if you watch FSU's recruiting, 2022, 2023, those seem to be the years that FSU is really focusing on the recruiting trail. Man, change that name. Chocolate Boy. Now, Tennessee has a strong fan base. Just like Georgia, whether they win or lose. A lot of the kids are born into Tennessee fans. But that's my thing, FSU Rose. Go look at it. They're recruiting Florida kids. They are recruiting some Tennessee kids. I got it. And I know how close Tennessee is to Georgia. So I got that too. But let's look at Tennessee. I just want to look at Tennessee's class real quick. They got 26 commits. They're top 10. Terrence Lewis, there's been a lot of rumors on Terrence, whether he's going to flip to Miami. But as of right now, he's still a volunteer. That's a South Florida kid that Pruitt got. Dylan Brooks is an Alabama kid. Again, I know Alabama is close to Tennessee, but damn. Aaron Willis is a VA kid that Tennessee's got. These are their top commits. Kaheem Marley, North Carolina kid. Katron Evans, Baltimore kid. Cody Brown's a Georgia kid. They got one Tennessee kid so far. They got a Texas kid, another kid out of Pensacola, Alabama, Georgia. They have 3 Tennessee kids so far. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm just going down the list, man. These kids are from Florida, Georgia, Texas, everywhere but Tennessee, is my point. I know they have a strong fan base, but they don't recruit Tennessee. Pruitt is out here recruiting. Pruitt's got the whole East Coast, North Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, Florida. Oh, and let's dig into Texas some. That's crazy. Pruitt is doing his damn thing. Pruitt is doing his damn thing. There are a ton of kids in the portal. It's really gonna be like that. My Maiden Day. It's really gonna be like that. This is really gonna be like a free agency for these college kids right now. They're literally gonna be able to go wherever they want. Little to no repercussion. And some of these schools are gonna definitely be dropping bags. Transfer portal offer plug-in players. King might return next year. Call me Panther then. I'm gonna have to call you something. Because I can't call you that. I can't call you that. They get in South Florida kids. That's my point, man. They not just I can understand if there was a bunch of Tennessee kids, or even I know the proximity of Tennessee and Georgia, and even North Alabama and Memphis are like right there. I get it. I know it. But man, they are recruiting, like you said, Virginia, Baltimore, Maryland are coming to Tennessee to play football. South Florida. Pruitt is doing his thing. You got to build them relationships. Got to build them relationships. I know he has backing of the university. Tennessee is a school that has money, and I don't know why they're so bad with the amount of money they have. You know. But yep. So recruiting wise, man, again, 2022, 2023 seem to be the classes that Norvell's really keen on, which makes sense, right? He's building relationships. And in the meantime, you kind of just got to take the guys that you can take. I hate to say it like that. But look, FSU's been really trying to go after some of the bigger recruits. I mean, the only big recruits left on our board are Destin Hill, who, as the day goes by, I know he's still crystal balled. As the day goes by, I don't believe Destin Hill is going to commit to Florida State. I just don't see it. Tywone Malone, the D tackle, that's a big time one. The baseball program is what's keeping him intrigued. I don't want to say I'd be stunned if we land this one, but man, I don't know. What keeps me hopeful about him is just looking at the competition. He has teams like Rutgers. I have to look at his top, but like Rutgers is one of his top schools. And I'm like, okay, we can beat out a Rutgers, damn it. So he's really big into baseball. What else is some big names left? Those are really the big 2 names left, man. We missed out on Mims already. I believe we would have got Mims if we could have won some games. But all the big names we've already missed on. Right now we're just trying to maybe get one of those last 2 guys and hope that we can fill out the rest of the class. Pruitt is a monster in recruiting. Yeah. Look who is recruiting for Tennessee. Pruitt, Derek Ashley, T. Martin. Absolutely. Absolutely, brother Brooklyn. You're absolutely right. We definitely need defensive line depth. That is definitely a key. I would still take some more offensive linemen as well. And if we could find a receiver, that'd be a heaven sent. Yeah, we definitely find some receivers. I would say keep adding to that defensive backfield too, and don't forget about linebackers. Don't forget about them linebackers. I didn't know that. Yeah, man. Pruitt's got I don't know. They can't seem to win games, but he's got a recruiting monster up there at Tennessee. So we'll see how long that lasts. We'll see if Miami can flip Terrence. It's that one's a weird one to me because I feel like why hasn't he flipped yet? But he hasn't. I mean, you're talking about the number one player at his position, but he hasn't decided to flip yet. And just look at some of these guys, man, that they have recruited. Like all of these guys are like top 250 players. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This key. So if we go to North Carolina is recruiting. Hold on, let me go back. North Carolina right now is sitting at number 14. With 1 5-star. But he's from. See, look at the difference between North Carolina and Tennessee. I want to show you what North Carolina is doing, which I get it, right? Keyshawn Silver from Rocky Mountain, Tennessee. Drake May, Charlotte, North Carolina. Did I say Rocky Mountain, Tennessee? I meant Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Sorry. They have North Carolina kid, North Carolina kid, North Carolina kid, Power Echo, North Carolina kid. Go look at they have literally every kid in their class is from North Carolina. That makes sense. North Carolina's getting good, somewhat good. I mean, I know they just lost to Virginia, so that team still has a ways to go. But they're recruiting the best talent in their state, and they're keeping their in-state kids home. They're not going out there getting a bunch of Florida kids or Georgia kids or Texas kids. You know, so what Pruitt is doing over there at Tennessee is impressive. What Mac Brown's doing in North Carolina, it's impressive for North Carolina, but at the same time, he's not really doing anything amazing. He's just keeping the best North Carolina talent home. I don't know how far that North Carolina talent can take you, but at least keeping the top 25 probably year in and year out. As it stands right now, they have the facilities. It's amazing how much these kids are into facilities. FSU's the upgrade. Yeah, I've talked about that before, Brother Brooklyn. Kids are cut from a different cloth nowadays. Absolutely. Kids want to go to, kids want to ride waves, right? Kids want to be, what's the word I'm looking for? They want to be, what do you call it when you're like trying to get somebody? I can't think of the word. Like the word brains just went blank. They want to be they want to be like catered to. They want to be shown these amazing facilities with a slide in the gym. Just ridiculous stuff that have nothing to do with football, but it looks cool. It makes them feel important. That's why kids always have to, promote their decommitments and commitments. It's all about clout and wanting to get 1 million likes. That's what everything's about now. It's not the same as it used to be. The kids don't. I'm not going to say they don't want to work hard because you do have some hard workers out there. But at that same point, you got some kids that don't even want to work hard. They just want to go ride the Alabama wave or ride the Clemson wave and say, I got me a couple natties because I was just on the team. It's a different breed of kid nowadays. It really is. It's very weird. Miami will tend to drop the ball on our own kids in our own backyard. Florida's a unique spot, Dave. Florida's a unique spot. I say that because for myself, my parents are from New York. My mother's from New York. My dad is from Puerto Rico, but all Puerto Ricans come from New York anyway. My mom's from New York. My god brother, who lives in Miami, has been in Miami his entire life, just like I was in Florida my entire life. My god brother is my mother's best friend. They grew up in New York. Florida is full of people that are not initially from there. Parents come from up north. Now, me personally, Mom wasn't into football or anything like that. Neither was my dad. Dad was more of a basketball guy. So I made my own football team, and for me, it became the Seminoles. But for a lot of these kids, parents come from up north. If dad's a big football guy, he's probably a Penn State guy, Ohio State guy, Michigan guy, Notre Dame guy. These kids get raised as fans in Florida of up north schools. You know, Florida, South Florida, it's a unique place. It's full of people that aren't always from there. You know what I mean? That's why Florida is so much more unique than really any state in the country. A lot of kids, while they may have grew up in Florida or even been born in Florida, parents are normally from somewhere else around the country. So their football allegiances or their sport allegiances don't always, they're not always Gators, Hurricanes, or Knowles. A lot of times, they grow up like loving these other schools. Terrence Lewis, father said he'd come if Miami offered. That's back to why I say that's weird for that recruitment. One, has Miami not offered him? Why wouldn't you offer him? And I don't get that. Does Miami not want him? Why wouldn't they want the number one outside linebacker, top 15 player in the nation? If they do want him, why are they waiting so long to offer him? If Miami's playing a dangerous game, if that's true, if you don't offer him, then Terrence Lewis doesn't feel like he's wanted in Miami. He's going to stick with Tennessee. So I don't know. They're playing a dangerous game there. There obviously has to be something more to that whole story than just being offered a scholarship. What up, Irv? If Tennessee loses to Arkansas, I guarantee kids will decommit. It's not that easy, Phil. It's easy to say I guarantee a bunch of kids. I don't see it. I don't think kids are going to decommit from Tennessee. That might be proven wrong. There's more to it than just wins and losses. And Pruitt can convince these kids to stay. Come on, say it, LeBron. Well, LeBron's another one. That's a good point. LeBron definitely changed how these kids do things nowadays. Absolutely. LeBron changed a lot of things in sports, and one of it is before you got credit for winning because you went out and earned it, and now it's like kids think, oh, just because I got rings, I deserve the credit, even though you rode the wave to get a ring. You weren't, it's a difference between being Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, never switching up. Everything changed around them in terms of their teammates, but they were the constant in winning rings. And, I hate to say it, but LeBron James going with D Wade and Bosh. Once D Wade, so he started breaking down, he said, no, I got to get out of here. I'm going to go jump on Kyrie and Kevin Love. Once Kevin Love started regressing and him and Kyrie didn't get along anymore, okay, well, we finna go over here and we finna jump on Anthony Davis, who's top 5 player in the league. So, there's a difference. And that's what these kids take the LeBron model, where it's like, okay, I don't need to build a dynasty. I'll just go create a dynasty. Like, there's a difference between building it and creating it. What Jordan did was they built in Chicago. LeBron James has created things where he's gone. I don't know what's more impressive. You guys can debate that. I personally just have more respect for the Jordan way. They definitely want to be wooed and pampered. I agree. I'm from Brooklyn, living in Broward County. Yeah, a lot. And that Florida, again, that's the unique thing about Florida when it comes to these kids and mainly college sports. I mean, look at the Bosa brothers, right? They all went to school in South Florida. I think dad was an Ohio State player as well. I mean, that's why they went there. Chris Carter and his kid. There's a lot of kids like that. The T2 situation reminds me of how we did Anthony Schwartz and we lost him to Auburn. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't know the details on that. Like, what is the details on y'all and Terrence Lewis? Dad says he wants to be a Cane. All Miami has to do is offer. Why hasn't Miami offered one of the top 15 players in the country? I think as the coaching staff can evaluate and develop better than last staff. So hopefully with the normal offseason. That's also a big thing going in. I haven't used the offseason excuse because no team had an offseason. Every team had the same offseason. With that said, I agree. You get the right offseason, you get a chance to really get these kids in the weight room. Maybe you got some guys that can develop better, obviously. You said it won't be the first time we did this to ourselves. See, Dave, you gotta Maiden Day, you gotta explain that situation to me because I really don't understand what's going on with y'all. You definitely got to explain that situation to me, or somebody with any type of insight on that has to explain what's going on with that. Because I feel like, that guy should be. He throws up a bunch of you. He throws up the you and all that on Instagram and Twitter. If I'm not mistaken, what's the holdup there? Is it some off-field stuff that they're worried about? Is it like what is the deal with that? That's ridiculous in my opinion. Tennessee looks like they're going to finish out 3-7. As long as the next offseason does not include Fuller. We talked about that earlier, Brooklyn. I got a feeling it will. I'm not even going to lie to you. I don't really foresee him getting fired after this year. It's unfortunate, but I don't really foresee it. Because Miami has eyes. Who? What other linebacker could you possibly have eyes on? That. Bruh, come on. Hold on. No, we can't do that. You got to be smarter than that. I'm going to look at Miami's recruiting class. All right. Now you have Leonard Taylor and James Williams. All right. Now, if you compare Terrence Lewis with James Williams, that's going to be a nasty combination, first of all. I hate to say that, but it is what it is. I'm looking at Miami's commitments. I'm looking for another outside linebacker. You ain't got one. Okay, your first outside linebacker is a Tyler Johnson. And he's out of Miami. You have inside linebacker Thomas Davis out of Valdosta. Bro, who could you possibly be eyeing that's going to be better than a Terrence Lewis? You can drop one of these 3 stars, like inside, like Deshaun Troutman. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you guys think he's better than what I know. The kid's not even nationally ranked. You can, out of Orlando, you can drop him, sign Terrence Lewis, and still go after the other kid, whoever that other kid may be. You can still go after him. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like they're being smart there. Phil don't agree with you. Phil says we have big eyes for T2. Let the situation play out. They holding stuff to the chest, and I'm with you. Okay. Yeah, we'll see what's going on there. I just think if you want him, he wants to be there. I don't understand why you haven't offered him yet. Doesn't make sense. Unless there's just more to the story that I don't know. Like off the field stuff. Sometimes with these kids, some baggage comes. If that's something, then that might make some sense. Maybe sometimes for some of these kids, sometimes it is better for them to leave home. They come from a rough situation. I'm not saying he does. I don't know what situation he comes from. But just point being that sometimes that could be playing a part in it. Sometimes it's better for some of these kids to leave home and not stay around that environment, But hit that like button, man. Again, sorry I'm sniffling and doing all this stuff. Got a cold. It's the one thing that wasn't great about the bye week is I got a cold. Hit the like button. Decided to do the show early today because I got some stuff I got to take care of later. So, yeah. We've been on an hour 30. You on 863 Seminole TV with your host, POLK. And, yeah, man, we're just talking like we always do on these hangover shows. That bag talk loud, Miami doesn't do that. Well, y'all have a history of doing that, but y'all might not do that now. When y'all had Shapiro, y'all was doing that. But the bag, look, that bag sounds great. I know money is a part of recruiting. I'm not dumb enough or foolish enough or naive enough to think that it doesn't. My argument to that, Phil, would be like if I was talking to Terrence, bro, you're gonna come to Miami, you're gonna get drafted to the NFL, you're gonna secure the bag regardless. You're gonna secure the bag regardless. When's the last time a top Tennessee player has been drafted? Somebody answer that question for me, because I legit don't know. When's the last time a top Tennessee player was drafted? Matter of fact, let's look that up. Let's try to look that up right now. I can't think of one in recent memory. Tennessee players in the NFL. All right. Trying to find some of these years. I got a list of guys, but I want to see the years they were drafted. Like recently. When's the last time Tennessee players drafted? Let's go with that. Round 1, you had Darrell Taylor. Is he any good? But seriously, this goes all the way back to 2011. Luke Stalker, Malik Jackson. Okay, they've had 2013, they had Cordell. I remember Cordell Patterson didn't pan out. Juwan James, offensive lineman in 2014. 2017, Derek Barnett, defensive end. So, Alvin Kamara, yeah. He was a 3rd-round pick. So Alvin Kamara would probably be the last big-time Tennessee player drafted. As I name these guys, since 2011, Tennessee has only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 players drafted. Now, I want to compare that to Miami because I'm almost positive Miami has, I wouldn't be surprised if Miami has double those numbers. Wouldn't be surprised. Look at this. This doesn't even go. Miami since 2011 has 52 players drafted. So the whole point of doing all of that was to tell you the bag's gonna come, Terrence Lewis. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to put on for Miami, but I'd much rather see kids stay home personally. I've always been like that. I don't care if you go to Miami or Florida. I just hate seeing a kid from South Florida go to damn Michigan or go to Tennessee or go to Virginia, or something. I don't like seeing that. Terrence Lewis, the bag's going to come. Miami's had double the amount of players that Tennessee has drafted in the same amount of time. 52 to be exact. Come on, man. Terrence Lewis, the bag is going to come. Alvin Kamara was the last one that we're talking about that was any good. Peyton Manning. How long ago was Peyton Manning? 1997, right? Or 98 was Peyton Manning drafted. Come on, man. Tennessee don't do nothing. They don't get players to the league like that. What's going on, Pat? Good to see you. Everybody's saying no linebackers. Exactly. Exactly. I agree. Half of Clemson players come from our crib, bro. I hate seeing kids go to Clemson. I hate it. Hate it. Gotta keep these kids home. Do I want kids? Do I want Miami to get a bunch of fun? Hell no. I don't want Miami to be good, but I'd rather see these kids stay home. I'd rather see these kids because what happens is this is how this thing works, and this is how this rivalry between Miami, Florida, and Florida State has always worked. What happens is once the kids start staying home, whether it's any of those 3 schools, well, guess what? Those kids also grow up with other kids, and those kids that they may have had rivalries with kids that they grew up with. Then they start going to the other schools, right? Iron sharpens iron. That's what happens. That's why I want these kids to stay home. Because if I grew up with whoever down the street and he's committing to Florida State, and me and him have been going at it since Pop Warner days and high school days of who's the best. He's a year older than me, but we've been going at it at who's the best in the city or the county. Guess what? I can either join them or I can continue to prove myself against them, and I'll go to Florida State or I'll go to Miami. You know what I'm saying? That's how recruiting used to work back in the days. That's why you have best friends that used to be at Florida State and Miami, best brothers who used to play for Miami and Florida State, cousins and all kind of stuff. That's how this stuff used to work. Now, kids want to go to Alabama and kids want to go to Clemson. Those rivalries get lost. The other kid can go somewhere else. You know, we're losing that. Keep the kids home, man. We got to keep the kids home. What's going on, Donald? We should have a lot of D-line linebackers and corners. It's like here in New York with basketball. All of our best kids go other places, except now they do it before college and they leave to go to high schools. And basketball is a whole nother beast, brother Brooklyn, because you got them AAU schools. I mean, look at Kevin Durant's from Washington, and somehow he ends up going to Texas. And that's just one example, right? The AAU has, in a lot of ways, kind of killed high school basketball. AAU teams are dominating the college, the basketball game. And these kids, like you say, from up north, they go to Kansas, they go to Duke, they don't go to Syracuse or St. John's anymore. You know what I mean? Because the AAU schools are the AAU teams are nationwide now. Whole different beast with that basketball stuff. James Williams played with T2 nearly all his life. It's crazy because James has been trying to get him. That's what I'm saying. I remember Dalvin had played with Matthew Thomas until his entire life. But that's what it used to be. That's how they used to do it. And, you know, now Tyson Campbell goes to Georgia and does what up there in Georgia when he stood at stayed home? You know, stuff like that, man. I don't like seeing it. I really don't. If a kid from South Florida goes to FSU or UF, I'm not even mad at all. These teams expect this one coach that comes in flying into the helicopter and parking on the field. Right. Right. Who wouldn't want to play with 6'5" safety and Leonard Taylor? Absolutely. So again, that's why I'm asking, what's the deal with that? Because I mean, James Williams, I know that dude's going to either be a linebacker or a safety. And that combination, even if he's a safety, he's going to be an in-the-box type of safety at the next level anyway. I mean, you're going to talk about him and Terrence Lewis on the same field at the same time? Man. But he wants to go to Tennessee. We'll see if that sticks. I'm up here right in the middle between Tennessee and Vodtech. Jared Mayo, the only linebacker from UT I know. My boss and her family, all damn UT fans. And that's what I'm saying, Daniel. Like, they don't, you know, Tennessee isn't known to be a NFL producer. All three Florida schools are. It goes Miami. I would say Miami's usually number one, Florida State, and then Florida as far as putting guys in the league. If we just check the numbers. What is Tennessee? Again, Alvin Kamara is the only guy we can name in recent memory that's been any damn good. It's definitely money. Tennessee is not a poor school by any means. I mean, have you seen that stadium they have? They definitely have the money. They definitely have a loyal fan base. But so does, you know who else has money and fans? Texas A&M. And who's Texas A&M? Like, man, I don't look. I know facilities, kids love these facilities, but man, I personally would much rather love playing in the NFL. And there's just certain schools that I know that ain't gonna get me there. Tennessee being one of them. A&M would probably be another one. I know the Bamas. I'll give Georgia some credit. Georgia will get you to the league. Bama will get you to the league. Florida State definitely going to get you to the league. Miami's going to get you to the league. Florida will. Tennessee's not. Auburn has been better recent years, but Auburn's not historically a league producer like that either. Auburn's been better in recent years. James Williams took back a 98-yard interception and a 95-yard. I wish they would stop texting me about voting. Damn it, I already did it. 95-yard. Hey, Jimbo and Coley just snatched up 2 kids from South Florida backyard, and they're going to continue to do it. Coley's got ties, and Jimbo recruited South Florida very well. But I know Coley definitely knows how to recruit South Florida. I don't know what again, that goes back to what I said earlier about the relationships. Like, we want to see the kids stay home, you know, but at the same time, those relationships do mean something, and these kids are really more inclined to go with the person they feel comfortable with. But that's one of the reasons why I respect. I really respect Miami's defensive tackle Nesta. When I saw when he committed, when I saw his commitment interview, you can't do number respect that. He was spot on with what he said. He said, I could go to Alabama and be great, or I could go here and be great, but why not stay home and make the like that? I love that. I love that. I love that. So you need guys like that. Guys like that change the culture. I ain't really up on 2022. Who should we be watching? In the 2022 class, I've said his name a million times, and I'm going to continue to let y'all know. Nico, and I can't pronounce his last name for shit. Class of 2022 out of Arizona, pro-style quarterback. And then the 7th overall pro-style quarterback in the nation. I think he's going to be a 5-star before it's all said and done. But Nico, I don't know if that's Italian. I don't know what that is. Marcholi or something like that. But that's somebody I would watch. That's something I would watch. Polk, hope you feel better. Which teams on your remaining schedule do you kind of win? Only 2. And I don't know which teams. I think we're going to lose to Pitt. I'm thinking NC State is a win. And you can pick between Duke and Virginia. I think we'll lose one of those games for sure, though. That's just the realness, John. Nesta a dog for real. They're dropping bags in South Florida to get them to leave. Nesta a real one. He cut from a different cloth. Right. Absolutely. And Dade says, Gotti facts. I know they're dropping bags, but man, I don't know. I mean, I get it. I've never been in that position where a school is going to offer me something that maybe another school won't offer me. I got it. I mean, this is the reason why Ole Miss, when they had recruited the Laramie Tunzels of the world, I got it. I get it. But at the same time, man, I'm a believer that the bag is going to come. The bag is going to come. That's just honestly my humble opinion, man. Shout out to Nicholas Garzon. I don't know what your name is in the chat, but shout out to Nicholas Garzon with the $10 donation. He said, appreciate the vibes, my G. Hey, I appreciate your donation, man. So shout out to Nicholas. Panther says, character concerns with Terrence Lewis. Is that true? I don't know. I'm assuming you're telling me, and that may be the case. I've been saying it has to be something. Is it character? Is it? I don't know. But if they want him, they should have him. We will beat NC State and Duke, but lose the rest. See, me and FSU Rose on the same page. You know, it ain't about being negative. It's just about being realistic. I think we will beat NC State, and I believe either Virginia or Duke. But I believe we'll lose to one or the other. He's thinking we'll beat Duke. Got it. If you were Miami, would you drop a bag for teacher? If I have it, why wouldn't you? I guess if you're Miami, the only argument you can have is should we have to drop a bag for a kid in our own backyard. But at the end of the day, man, if you want to recruit with the big boys, you got to do it. I guess, my question becomes like when FSU was signing the Dalvin Cooks and the Timmy Jernigans, Mario Edwards, Eddie Goldman, LaMarcus Joyner. I'm just naming a bunch of 5-stars. And the reason I'm naming these kids, you can't tell me FSU was dropping bags for all of those kids. FSU supposedly super cheap, but we're dropping bags for all of these 5-stars? No. You just were able to sell them. You were able to convince them. You don't think remember Clemson was trying to drop bags on Dalvin. You need a different breed of kid. Money is going to come. For a majority of these kids, money's going to come. Now, I get it. You never know. You never know when it comes to injuries and anything can happen. Kid might not just pan out. But the fact is, a kid, the school is not going to be able to give you any more money than the NFL is. Just like the NFL money could potentially not come because of an injury or something. Whatever amount of money that school's giving you, it's not life-changing money. Believe me, I know. Look, I know that FAMU back in the day used to drop bags. I know a person that got a Camaro from a green and orange Camaro from FAMU. Now, this was years and years ago. The point being, it's not life-changing. Miami, Florida State, Florida, they can set you up to get life-changing money in the league. Just because Tennessee buys, like I remember Reggie Bush, USC bought his mama a house. Got it. Let's assume Reggie Bush never goes pro or gets injured. A house is a great thing to have, don't get me wrong. But is that life-changing money? Property is a great thing to own. You should own property probably more before you should own like a car or anything like that, right? But that's not life-changing. I mean, I guess it's life-changing, but you're still going to have to work your 9 to 5 is my point. You're still going to have a job. Even if the house is paid for, you're still going to need electricity, cable, internet. You still have a car that you have to pay for, is all I'm saying. The NFL can completely change your life to where you don't have to work anymore. And your family won't have to work. Your immediate family won't have to work anymore. So I don't think I don't know what a school is going to offer that is going to be life-changing money. That's just my opinion. I've never been presented with that. So 18-year-old kid being presented with that, I can understand how you make that decision. No, I'm not saying that I don't understand it. I think that's why these kids needs if they don't come from the best stable background, a lot of times these kids need real mentors, somebody to look at the bigger picture for them. Unfortunately, the facts are a lot of these young black men don't have that. You grow up and you see a mom work 2 jobs, no dad's at home. No, that's just real talk. And Alabama's offering you $250K or whatever it is they're offering you. You can give that to mom right now. I completely get it. I grew up in a single parent household where mom worked swing shifts. So I got it. So I understand the mindset. I just, if we can try to mentor these kids to see the bigger picture, that's just how I'm, that's just all I'm saying. I know Clemson's alum here in Charlotte, they admit it, especially with Deshaun Watson. Yeah. The SEC bag is different. For Jameis, we did. We may have for Jameis, even though that one, I think you're probably right there because, they put up with a lot of shit for Jameis, so that would make sense. We're not dropping bags. We use the brand. I think for a majority of kids, no, Florida State doesn't have to drop bags. It's exactly what you just said. Dalvin is a kid that hurt, but I understand why he left from us to y'all. So he flaw and fake Golden was. Mario Pops got a job out of him coming here. I mean, but and Mario was an alum. Mario's dad was an alum anyway. So same thing Michigan did with buddy Devin Bush's dad. They gave him a job, so Devin went to Michigan. I got it. 100K sounds like a lot. In the real world, I think anybody who knows anything that 100K it's a cool amount of money, but it ain't life changing. It ain't life changing. So there's just a lot of kids that some of these schools I know they drop in the bags, and I think some of these other schools don't have to. Tennessee may very well be doing it. It also comes with those big boosters. Some of these schools have nasty boosters. I'm talking about Michigan's one of them. Michigan had the owner of the Miami Dolphins is a Michigan alumni. That's an amazing booster to have if you're Michigan. Oklahoma State's another one. That guy, TJ Boone or whatever, billionaire. You got those boosters, Again, I'm not naive. I remember Florida because I'm from Lakeland, Florida. I remember when UF was recruiting the Pounceys and Chris Rainey and them. They were giving those. Rainey, as a matter of fact, almost got in trouble, if I remember correctly, for accepting gifts from Florida boosters. So it happens. I get it. It happens. What's going on, CJ? But I've done my 2 hours. Thanks everybody who tuned in. I definitely went earlier than normal, but I wanted to get a video out there because I didn't do anything this past week. Again, I'm sick. Sorry about that. CJ hopes they can win after the bye week. It'd be interesting to see. I don't expect us to win, CJ. In case you missed the first part of this video, we will lose to Pitt this weekend. But I'm on 2 hours. Got some stuff I got to take care of this afternoon. Afternoon for me, evening for y'all. So thanks everybody who showed up. I will be doing something Friday. It's back to the normal schedule. Friday with T2Y. Saturday Night Live after the game. So back to the regular scheduled programming. BB, what's up? Everybody's coming here a little late. I know because I came on early. So if you really want to watch the video, guys, go back and watch it from the beginning. I mean, ultimately, if the kids don't want to be part of the build, then maybe the kids we need. Absolutely, Daniel. I will get better. It's just a little cold. And again, thanks everybody who showed up here on 863 Seminole TV with me, your host. And I will see you guys Friday. Or who knows? If anything pops over through the week, who knows what I'll do. But most likely Friday, normal time Friday, normal time Saturday. We'll go over what happened with Pitt and all that foolishness. Thanks everybody who tuned in today. Hey, and as always, stay classy, Seminoles. Canes, stay crabby. And it's your boy, and we out here.